All right, you guys, here we are. What an incredible night that we've just had here speaking with Dan Bell and incredible information from Patty Glick and Dawn tonight, you guys. I mean, just it's really amazing what this leadership really pours into us every single day, and talking about pivoting through challenges. Speaking of challenges, you guys, wouldn't it be nice if every single person that we talked to initially just started a program the first time you wanted to talk with them on a health assessment? Like if they were ready to go right from the very get-go in the beginning, right? Right then and there. Well, honestly, we know that life doesn't happen that way, right? And it's not that case for everybody. In fact, one of the biggest blessings I think that I've learned as a coach is that the timing has to be right for somebody. But the fortune, you guys, the fortune is in the follow up. So tonight we are so blessed to have Regional Director Molly Peterson tonight speak on one of the most underutilized systems in follow up. And tonight she's not only going to go over why it's so imperative to do, but the kind of like the soft skills on how to do it well. So, Molly, are you there tonight, my friend?
I'm here. I'm here. Hi.
Yay. All right, bring it. Give us the love on all things
All
follow-up.
right. I'm going to share my screen. Oh God. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Where's my where? Okay. I had it all prepared. Where's my screen? Let me minimize that. Let me go here. Let me go here. Let me know if it's sharing. Is it sharing? Am I still in the meeting? Oh, Lordy. Okay. Technology is not my strong suit. Ian, help. Okay, can you guys hear me? Just nod your heads. Nod your heads. Okay. The art of the follow-up. When, why, how, when, who, how, and why. Now, this business is very simple in many ways. It's about people and building trusting relationships with those people. What we know is it takes a long time for people to make decisions or to start doing things that will help them. They hem, they haw, they have all of these excuses. So it takes a long time to build those relationships. Now, generally, it takes between 7 and 12 follow-ups with them where we're planting the seeds, we're watering those seeds, and going back and advancing the conversation and the relationship. Now, this is important. We can give you these tools, but a big piece of the puzzle is putting these tools into action. And that's where you guys come in. Next slide. Oh, Jesus. Annika, I need your help. Next slide. Sorry, y'all.
Try hitting the space bar. Not advancing.
We'll try that one. There we go. Okay. Whew. The obstacle's away. Okay. So let's look at some of these statistics. Now, when people start up, 2% of people start on the first contact. I was one of those 2%. I was ready and I knew I was ready. So when I started coaching, I figured everyone else is ready. Why else would they get on the phone with me? But the truth is, not everyone is ready. 3% of people start on the second contact. 5% of people start on the third contact. 10% of people start on the fourth contact, and literally 80% of people start on the 5th through the 12th contact. So following up is imperative. Now let's talk about some of the follow-up statistics when it comes to coaches, okay? We're building these relationships with people and we reach out one time. Do you know that 48% never follow up with a potential client? 25% make a second contact and then they stop. 12% make 3 contacts and they stop. And 10% make more than 3 contacts with a person. Now we know, I said at the beginning, it takes 7 to 12 times for someone to finally make a decision. So where do you fall in this scenario? I know for me, I'm running about the 12%. I give 3 tries and I'm like, forget it. So that's something I really want to get into the 10% of making more than 3 contacts. We're really building this relationship, whether or not they become a client. They could potentially be a doorway to somebody else. So follow-up is key. Now, you hear this a lot, follow-up Friday. Why Friday? First of all, it's great alliteration, right? Follow-up Friday sounds much better than follow-up Tuesday or follow-up Sunday. But there really is a science behind this. People are happiest on Friday. They've been through their hellish 40-hour, 60-hour work week, and thank God it's Friday. They're coming home, they're relaxed, they're looking forward to the weekend. So Friday is a great day to call or to follow up. Payday often falls on a Friday. People got money in their pockets and they're happy because it's Friday. Now, social events also happen on weekends, and folks, you know, they really tend to overdo it. They're feeling bad. And when they're feeling bad, they're unable to make conscious decisions about their health. They're like, well, you know, F it. I can't do this anyway. And then they just continue that pattern. So follow up Friday. All right. Now, who do we follow up with? There are four main groups of people that I follow up with. The health assessment, not yet. And, you know, we have a lot of those. People sometimes just aren't ready, as we know, 80%. The people that we add to core, our additions to Chasing Better, and our hundreds list. Okay. Now, let's move to the next slide. We want to work from your list. I used to keep my list in my head. I used to keep my list on a sticky note. I used to keep my list in a purse. I used to keep my list in Fantasyland. It's really important to actually write down the names of the people that you are talking to. Number one, so you don't send them the same message twice. You know how embarrassing that is? If you know you reached out to them 3 days ago and then you forgot and you reach out to them again. We really want to work in structure and from your list. Okay, now your hundreds list. These are the people who are on your heart. These are the people you are building relationships with and people you believe could benefit from the program. Now, I'm learning how to keep meticulous notes. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm keeping meticulous notes. I write down how I approached them, whether it was through message, whether it was through video, whether it was through a voice message. I write down whether or not I've put them in core. I write down whether or not I've included them in Chasing Better, so that when I go back, I'm not embarrassing myself. I mean, truly, that's what it comes down to, so that I know I've covered all the bases and I have it written here. Okay, so that's your hundreds list. Now let's talk about not yets. In your coach's binder, this beautiful thing that Optavia has provided you, there's an orange folder in there called Client Follow-Up. I believe it's orange. Mine fell apart a long time ago. So your not yets are in that folder. Now, we want to reach out to them in the same way that we reach out to our hundreds list, in that we're building these relationships, and it doesn't necessarily have to be, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because you're going to get unfriended really quickly. Okay. So I'm going to get to that on the next slide, how we actually extend those relationships and what do we do. But so the next one we're going to talk about is core, and then we'll talk about chasing better. Okay, so we're going to get to the next one. I'm on my first day of 5-in-1, so I'm a little bit foggy. Okay, so when we're talking about the hundreds list, and even developing these relationships as we go, we like to use the Ford method: family, occupation, relationships, and dreams. Okay, we're extending these conversations. We're getting to know these people. We really want to know them, so we can find out their why, so that we can help them achieve their goals when they do come on program. And notice I said when, because they always come. They always come. So some things we can do, like I like to send video messages. One thing I actually did this last week was I went into my not yet folder, and I sent a video message to every single person in that folder, and I held up their health assessment, and I said, hey, I was organizing my paperwork, and I came across this, and I just really wanted to check in with you and see how things are going, and if anything, and just to let you know that, I've been thinking about you. And I got responses from, I don't know, 95% of the people. So that's your not yet. Okay, so what we're doing is we're extending our conversations. We want to ask people like, hey, I saw your daughter went to prom. How was prom? I loved your dress. Oh, you got a new car? Where did you get it? Did you get a good deal? Can you hook me up with your dealer? Car dealer. Say how lovely it was. Annika's laughing. Say how lovely it is. We ran into each other at the grocery store. Oh my gosh, it was so good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. I wish we had more time to catch up. Extend the conversation, extend the relationship. Sometimes I send funny memes. I have one gal who loves coffee, so I send her funny coffee memes every now and then. Heartfelt videos, anything you can think of to stay connected with the people you're building relationships with. Okay, now core and chasing better. We want to follow up within 24 to 48 hours with these questions, and more questions if you can think of. I'd love to actually hear questions that you ask in the chat. What are you loving about this group? Specifically core. I follow up a lot with core. I'm working on following up with chasing better. But with core, what are you loving about this group? Oh, I love the recipes. I love the transformations. Great. What would you like to know more about? Let's hop on a call and answer those questions. And the same thing for chasing better. What are you loving about it? What would you like to know more about? Let's hop on a call and answer those questions. Okay. Every time you make a connection that builds trust and moves someone one step closer to making the decision that changes their lives and changes their health. Now, I don't know about you, but this program has changed my life in ways I could never even have imagined. And there are so many people out there who are in that very position, who need something desperately, like I did. So I want to encourage you, follow up Friday. Are there any questions? I don't know if I can get out
I
of
think
this.
it'd be good. Let's open it up for questions. We rarely do this, but we have a little bit of time this evening, and you did such a great job on, why follow up is so important, how we kind of do that with some of those soft skills. So I kind of wanted to open it up this evening for anybody who's got questions for Molly here on her expertise on follow up. So anybody got any questions that they would love to come, just bring yourself off of mute and we can really talk it over together as a family. Like, how do we follow up with certain people, whether it's been a health assessment or maybe somebody that hasn't been ready just yet. There's all different ways to kind of follow up to move it forward.
So one example that I have done where people have come on Yes, Kendra, I always follow up with people that say no. And I don't follow up in a way like, hey, are you ready now? Are you ready now? I just continue to build those relationships. In fact, one of my coaches was a no. One of my coaches in my organization, and I'm not going to say who, she was, when I first talked to her about it, she was like, don't talk to me about your program. I don't want anything about it. I don't want to talk about it. I was like, great. And then of course she became a client, and now she's a coach, and her life is transformed. So we want to be patient, and we want to just continue to build those relationships.
Actually, Molly, let's talk that over a little bit because Kendra's got a really good question here. You know, sometimes it's a no. It's not like sometimes it's a really, really hard no where people are like, no way,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Right. And then they have either something that's preventing them. It's usually something that's preventing them from saying yes. Right. There's all sorts of things that those things can be. Why do we not want to just say, okay, it's a no and back off?
That's a good question. Why? Well, because we know what this can do for people, and we know that is it a money issue? Is it a spouse issue? Is it a I'm not ready to give up my habits issue? I mean, we do health assessments. People know they're coming to us because they're either out of inspiration or desperation. So they're on the phone with us for some reason. And we really need to get to that why. And their why should make them cry. Their why should make you cry. Leanna's why made me cry. I remember doing Leanna's health assessment and I was sobbing. Yeah, I was sobbing.
No, I think this is really good because
I'm getting distracted. I've got a headache.
you're totally fine. I know I'm putting you on the spot, Johnny, on the spot here, right? Like, so a no isn't a no. It's maybe
It's not a
there's
no.
concepts, right? Maybe there's something preventing. You want to be a kind enough human being to really explore what that no is all about and not taking it for face value and assuming that we know why it is they're saying no, right? So a really great skill set with this is I can totally appreciate that. Can you tell me why that's a no for you? What is it that's preventing you from making that decision? I remember these things were so important to you. What is it that you think that's getting in our way from making it a yes for you? Right. And it's asking that question, seeking to understand maybe where this wall is for them. And then once you understand maybe where this wall is, maybe that's really not an obstacle that's truly needing to be there to preventing them from moving to that next step for them. So it's seeking to understand, right? No, I'm not interested because it's too expensive. Tell me more about that. How much are you currently spending? What are you spending on food? What isn't working for you, right? So it's being kind enough to really be curious about people and care enough to ask the hard questions in those moments. And when I'll just put it this way, people don't care how much you know, they know how much you care. And when you care enough, eventually they'll see that you're trying to do this for them and help them. And I guarantee you, if just don't give up on people. Don't give up on
Yeah.
them.
Don't ever give up on people.
This is good. I think Jenny's got a question. Jenny, I think I'll ask you. Oh yeah, we muted everybody. That's why nobody can come off.
Sorry, y'all.
Let me just let me ask to unmute. Are you getting the button to unmute? Oh wait, you know what? I got to make myself.
I'm unmuted.
Oh, cool.
Hi guys. Sorry, I'm eating right now, but I wanted to because I'm getting a little confused on the list and how to keep them organized because it seems like I have the core list, the chasing better list, I have the heart list, I have the hundreds list, I have people that I've spoken to about program, the people that I haven't spoken to about program, but they're on my heart and they're new friends. And it's like all these lists, I have a binder but it's getting a little overwhelming for me because it just seems like it's so much. Because I talk to so many people on a daily basis, and it's like, I don't know, it's like, how do you keep it organized, I guess?
For me, I actually keep all my lists, all my people. I have two separate ones. I have my follow-up in my binder, and then I keep everybody else on this. And I have these extra columns so that I know if they're in core, I know if they're in this, and I date it as I go. Because yeah, it can be super overwhelming. And I can't tell you how to organize it for you. This is what works for me. I put people on my whiteboard. I have a list on my map. I generally work from my map and from my hundreds list. I'm kind of all over the place. Is that helpful?
You know what?
Annika?
I honestly think everybody thinks that there should be like a magic way or a system.
Yeah, there's no magic way. It's what works for you. Yeah.
It's just being intentional. Everybody learns differently. And so it's finding a way that works for you personally. And I love my systems. I create a list and I've got next to them, whether I'm approaching them as a client, whether they were interested. I mean, I'll be honest, my whiteboard, I've got potential clients and coaches, and I've got like dates next to them, what they were interested in, if they're in core and things like that. It really is a hot mess, but I'm using that list intentionally every single day. And I'm following up with those people like that. So, you know, sometimes I follow up more than just on Fridays, like Molly was saying, you know.
Yeah.
Honestly, like if I've got a little bit more white space, I'm thinking about, oh my God, this person said that, you know, they wanted to chat like maybe on Monday or things like that. You know, sometimes it's not being systematic like that. It's the people that are on your heart and just reaching out to them and letting them know that you care. One of my favorite things, it's a hot mess, just doing your best. But if you're using a list and being intentional on that list and following up with people, it will happen. So there's going to be people that get lost in the process, definitely. And that can just happen, you know? So just do your best to try to stay as organized as possible, but your systems may be different. That's a really good question on that. Any questions as it relates to follow-up for people? When it comes to maybe how do I follow up with somebody after a health assessment that keeps saying no, or how do you follow up with people in core, or maybe we've talked to coaching candidates and putting them into chasing better. Is there anything that anybody's really specifically stuck with when it comes to follow up or anything like that?
So Ian has a really good question, Annika. What if they don't believe in the program or compare it to an MLM?
Well, I would say our self-education on that and how we posture that is really basically how we can really present that, you know, to be honest with you. If you see it as something that actually offers hope and is a vehicle to create conscious leadership, there's really no comparison with that. And I know that there's a post in the Transformation Tribe. If you put in search and put MLM, is how we basically explain it to people. So that all starts with our posture and knowing what it is. And that can be kind of helpful with that. It's kind of a longer, more question to go into when people say that. And I say, to be honest with you, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by MLM? Because I've never been a part of that before. I have no idea what that means. Can you please help explain that to me? And they'll say, well, is it this? Well, is it that? Tell me more about that. What do you mean? Because people will have limiting belief systems or concepts, and they think that they know what this is, and they'll try to put it into a square hole, right? Is what that they'll try to do. And they'll try to define it, where we know that Optavia is a vehicle that is none like any other program, any other company that's out there. So they're going to try to define that. So be really curious if somebody says something like that to you, say, what do you mean? I'm not sure if I understand. What does that mean? So
and it's really an obstacle.
Yeah.
You know what I tell people when they're saying, well, I don't want to be a coach. I don't want to do the program because they have all these preconceived notions of what it might be. I say, well, you don't have to coach. You still get to experience the program and have all the benefits of the program. You don't have to coach. You're not locked into that. And they're like, well, I don't want to get involved. Well, that's a roadblock. That's an excuse that they're not ready for the program, quite frankly, I think.
These are all really great questions. I think basically, Molly, you did such a good job explaining all of this in follow-up, is to be really, really curious, because there's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be obstacles. People are going to have concepts about either what they think or obstacles about what they think that are preventing them from starting their journey. So it's all about getting back to why. Why is it so important that they wanted to make changes to their health and well-being? What are they willing to do to make that commitment? And if their why is strong enough, that'll be all it takes, you guys. So Molly, thank you so much tonight for adding such an
Welcome.
value to us tonight. You guys, give Molly a huge round of applause. You guys, I really hope that tonight gave you some clarity, some soft skills, some hard skills on the art of follow-up. And really with that, we hope to see you on Wednesday night for our BFED community time. Actually, that starts at noon on Wednesday. And this is where we're going to have executive directors Ian and Kirsten Anthony. They're going to be hosting our community call on healthy relationships. And then after that is our client support call at 5:30, where we get to really dive into hydration myths and our inspiring trilogy presentation to follow. So with that, you guys, we'll leave you in health and hope. Have a great night, you guys. Bye-bye.
Oh.